Okay, we're live. Hey, how's it going, guys? Another exciting week at Cheat Lair. It just keeps getting more exciting. Yeah, it's right now. um, Actually, I might have to get him one. So, just some general updates before we begin. We seem to be accelerating as influencers are like sharing us and trying us. It's very easy now, even for free users, to try our most valuable automations. For example, lead generation, you can just say scrape Google Maps for whatever business you want globally. That's a pretty easy way to get started on lead generation, which tends to be the most valuable automations. Or you can grow any brand on autopilot now if you say post to Twitter about whatever your brand is every day at 10 a.m. So users can then almost now, within 5 minutes, set up their own autonomous sales agent. So we're trying to reduce the time to value, or the aha moment, basically, to make it as easy as possible for everyone. And oh, there's a recent news. We've been talking about this for months. Um, Microsoft released their 365 AI solution, chat solution for 365, which is a business oriented solution, but they did it in a unique way. You might have noticed, like, their marketing was kind of brilliant. Basically, they phrased it in such a way that they're basically selling the data back to you, or the right not to take the data from you. So literally selling the data back to you upfront. And so because they realized that this was a big thing, people were already talking about it, that who owns the data is super important. And if all these large companies end up owning the data, they'll be able to uh, completely guide the market and pricing and monopolize it and things like that. And so we want to avoid that. Sorry about that. So our defensive moat is actually our users. So the way we're designing this whole system is we're building it such that large companies won't be able to take the data and sell it back to you. And if we force this open source sort of model for owning the data, then companies going forward will also end up adopting it, I think, just copying the idea if it works. So we should try and just test it and prove that it works, because what happens is there's like historically been an issue. This is just like a historical issue in software where, for example, if you set up like some kind of support system, right? If you want to move to a new support system, they're almost I've never seen one that allows you to export all your conversations easily in such a way that you can import it into intercom, for example. And why would they be incentivized to do that? So they're going to be, I think, dark design patterns is like just an obvious clue, but also directions that large companies go in that's going to be antithetical to what what users want. And so for example, they'll never be able to build features for what every user want. They'll have to cater to what the majority of users want, or whatever market they're targeting. And so, sorry, my dog's a little bit sick, so I have to take care of him. He's being a little baby. Okay, good boy. All right. He just wanted me to chase him for his treat so that he can eat it. I'm using the new NVIDIA noise canceling though, so you can't actually hear him barking. So you guys have no idea what's happening. It's kind of funny. Hopefully that's still working. So, anyways, so the idea is that we're also going to be growing this valuable data set that stays with your business. And so even if it's like not platform risk, it's not platform dependent. So even if we go down, you can take it to the next language model. Hopefully we won't go down, but you can take it to the next GPT-5, whatever else. It's still valuable as data. And we're structuring it in such a way to make it useful. So traditionally there's been this idea of data lake houses. Then there's this whole complicated setup. But language models offers a path to parse unstructured, large sets of unstructured data using embeddings and simple language. And I don't think that's really been exploited yet. So we're allowing businesses to gather that data now, and we're building business intelligence tools on top of that. And then just by virtue of the fact that this data requires statistical significance, because in order to get things like, to understand things like what's high converting copy for your sales agents, for example, right? Or A/B testing, for example, you need at least 2 weeks of data. You need enough traffic for that data to be statistically significant. It can't just be one or two people. So to gather the data takes time. It takes people and time. And that's something that requires actually taking the same amount of time to gather actually meaningful data. And so Microsoft can't copy the data overnight. And even if they did try to copy, like hire thousands of engineers to do it, they would have to take the same amount of time, and they couldn't exactly copy it because our customers are unique. So we're growing a very unique, valuable data set as a community. And over time, that'll become more evident. We'll be able to show you examples of how this is working. And we'll release something called, we haven't released this yet. It'll be a global opt-in version of the sales base that you guys have access to that collects data from all the users who are choosing to donate data to the global data set. And what that'll do is, over time, as we grow users in every market, we'll have agents that don't start from zero in that market. So people will be able to either move their business to a new market with just intelligence on how to sell to that market. So they can apply that intelligence from their business that's already large to quickly move to new markets or new regions or same markets with different products, because there's a lot of intelligence built into this that we're growing. And so that'll help you save time, because normally this is like an expensive thing. You got to test new markets, and a lot of companies like fail even trying that. So, and the other thing is new businesses. People who are starting new businesses will be able to start without having to start from zero, which means we'll have this like growing data set of what agents will start to understand how to sell cars, for example, or how to sell real estate. And so it'll solve the original vision, which was to make it easy for everyone to start businesses. And so that's kind of cool. And we're building it using open source tools like Supabase. So you have complete access to the data. In fact, you can host it yourself on your own computer. You can take it off Supabase and host it yourself even. So host your own Supabase. And we'll show tutorials on how to do that. So the other big update, so this week, based on feedback from our launch, we're launching this kind of new category for agent management. And we're learning every day on how that should be built, because this is the first time I think people are using teams of agents in their business in effective ways. And so we're learning how to make it easier and easier every day. So for example, we're going to automate the entire setup. I mean, CheatLayer is an automation tool, so we can automate the setup so that you can actually set up sales agents, including if you have no leads, just to set them up entirely in 5 minutes. We automated the entire setup in Salesbase, Supabase, Gmail, and Twilio, so it does everything for you. And then we're building in unique tools just to make it easy for project management for teams of AI agents, including just based on the asks of some of our larger enterprise customers who are now asking to deploy this across teams of like 200 more people. So that's kind of exciting. So we're learning through that process what to build, and we're building bleeding edge solutions. So give us feedback. Let us know what to build next. So let us know how to make this easier, how to deploy agents for your business easier. I would start with our pre-built agents and then edit them to learn, and then let us know what the roadblocks are, and we can train it across all the agents. So that's the path. And then the next big exciting thing will be CheatLayer Desktop, and I'll be able to talking more about that. It's necessary to solve some roadblocks in automation. Sorry about that. Because, for example, some security issues like cross-origin iframes or websites might just completely change their design. And we have cool ideas on how to build a new robust kind of targeting that's never been used before for automation. They'll leverage all these new multimodal models. So I'll be able to talk about that in a second. Okay, cool. So I'm also big now. So should be data here or something. So the live conversational agents, we've updated them a little bit. Users now all have access to this, but we haven't released any easy agents that you can deploy yet, but we're going to be releasing them next for Zoom, ways you can trigger them from Zoom or Zapier, so you can trigger them from any call service if you need to, or just a button that you can use to turn it on, so you can actually just turn it on for calls and stuff like that, or even talk to it yourself. So one interesting thing that I learned was, on accident, I left it on, and I was just talking about something that I was thinking about, and it actually responded in an intelligent way that I never expected. And so I think we're gonna try that. Try building, or I'm testing it myself. The only thing is that it consumes a lot of tasks, because 11 Labs it doesn't consume a lot of tasks actually. We set it up such that it only consumes 2 tasks per character, so you can try it out pretty easily. You can go to any website, and we've taught Project Atlas the ability to read and speak. So you can say, read the contents of this page by speaking, and it'll actually speak it back to you. So you can build automations, for example, that read the latest news, updates every morning to you. Schedule that to happen every morning on a specific website. We'll release cheat codes for that. That's pretty easy to do. And yeah, so you can build these really. This is an interesting thing. Like, we have some customers who are interested in deploying this, but I don't think it's been done before, where you actually use conversational voice agents in such a way to interact with customers live. And I'm excited about testing it out because it's definitely possible for things like intelligent receptionists. If they know about it, if they know it's a robot right now, I think it's very obvious it's like robotic, but oh, it's a baby. Uh, I don't think we're going to fool anyone with this yet, but if we're very clear that it's a robot, it's almost amazing what it can do because it can actually have entire conversations with you against whatever research you upload or your entire business data. You can upload all your company data and it'll know all your history of your company or your entire like documents for your API. It'll be able to answer questions about APIs and things like that. Or even just like things you're interested in, like the research you're interested in. Like you can have it automatically. We can set up an automation that automatically uploads to your Supabase all the latest research papers, and so you can start asking questions about the latest research papers. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to use this just because it's really useful. So you guys all have access to this in the next update. You can set up. I'm just going to show you how to use this now, but you can set this up now, even if you don't have access to the next update. Just go to any website and say, read the contents of this page by speaking. So Project Atlas now, we taught it the ability to speak using 11 labs, and it only consumes 2 tasks per character, so it's very easy for users to try it out. You don't have to set up any API or anything. But in the next update, we'll release agents that you can actually use to deploy these in your business, which is going to be exciting. I think that'll be kind of cool. So yeah, for this call, I did something interesting. So in this version, you can now upload data directly to your CRM, your agent CRM, your agent memory, right? Which means you can upload any PDF, text file, CSV, all your history of your company, conversations, customers, financial data, or research papers. And so during these meetups, we used to discuss research papers, if you remember. So I thought this is kind of cool. We can actually now upload research papers directly and have conversations against them. And so I'm just going to test that out now to show you how that works. So I uploaded this paper. So let's talk about it a little bit. Okay. And the delay is a little bit longer for this one because it's actually going to the PDF research paper and summarizing that and stuff like that. But we also figured out a way to reduce the delay by an additional second that we just haven't released yet. So it'll get more and more natural sounding. So this might sound like a little bit delayed. So just to warn you guys. Okay. Explain the research paper robots that ask for help.
This research paper discusses a system called Kanono, which is designed to help robots ask for help when they are uncertain about a task. The system uses language-based planning and large language models, LLMs, to generate step-by-step plans for the robot. However, these plans can sometimes be ambiguous or incorrect, which could lead to undesirable or even unsafe actions. For example, if a robot is asked to place the bowl in the microwave, but there are multiple bowls on the counter, the instruction is ambiguous. The robot should know when it doesn't know and ask for clarification instead of acting on an ambiguous instruction and potentially causing damage. The researchers use a method called conformal prediction, CP, to estimate the uncertainty of the robot's next step. This allows the robot to interact with its environment and ask for help when needed. The robot generates a set of candidate plans, and if it's uncertain about which plan to follow, it asks for human help. The system is designed to ensure that the robot's policy succeeds with a user-specified probability and minimizes the number of options presented to the human for clarification. Overall, the goal of this research is to create safer uncertainty from other sources and optimizing different metrics. The researchers also discuss potential future directions for this work, including incorporating for human help and more reliable language-instructed robots by enabling them to ask for help when they are uncertain about a task.
Since we're building a system for agents, would this research be helpful for us to integrate agents into existing organizations seamlessly so that they can actually ask for help?
Yes, this research can indeed be used to integrate agents into existing organizations in a way that they can ask for help when needed. The research is about a system called NoNo, which is designed to help robots ask for help when they are uncertain about their tasks. The system uses a language model to generate step-by-step plans for the robot. If the robot is uncertain about the next step, it can ask for help. The system is designed to minimize the amount of help required by the robot, making it more efficient and independent. The research also discusses the use of conformal prediction, CP, to calibrate the confidence of the robot in its tasks. This means that the robot can be more or less confident in its actions based on the predictions of the CP. In terms of integrating this into existing organizations, this could mean that robots or AI agents This could make the integration of AI into the used to perform tasks. And when they encounter a situation they are unsure about, they could ask for help from a human colleague. Workplace smoother and more efficient, as the AI would not need constant supervision and could handle tasks independently most of the time.
Amazing. So could we also use this research somehow to reduce our task usage by combining multiple models or human workers in the loop?
This could potentially reduce the need for multiple models or human workers. Absolutely, the research suggests that by using a system like GNOME, which is designed to understand when it doesn't know something and ask for help, we can improve the efficiency of tasks. For, in the context of this research, the system is designed to handle tasks with multiple acceptable outcomes. The system example: if a robot is asked to bring a soda, and there are both Coke and Sprite available, either would be an acceptable choice. Furthermore, the system is designed to understand this and make a decision rather than needing additional input or multiple models to handle the task. This could potentially reduce the need for
Okay, that's all
help
great. Thank
when it
you.
encounters a task. You're welcome. If you have any other questions about the research, feel free to ask.
So you can see that in the latest version, we also added the ability to stop it, so you can interrupt it. We're going to continue to improve the latency so that it sounds more like naturally talking to someone. So you can actually, it doesn't like keep talking forever if you wanted to stop and things like that. And also, like, I mean, honestly, for our own business, probably email is like the most email agents are probably going to be the most valuable thing for our business and most software startups and businesses probably, and people that we're even selling to, honestly. However, there's a big market in retail and dealerships for SMS. There's a big market for SMS, not just for sales, for just like support and things like that as well. Like banks also use that as well. So we could maybe get some huge banking customers. We're talking to some larger enterprise customers. And things like that. So this is just fun. So this is just like an actual useful assistant. The other day, it actually did help me by explaining things to me that I was interested in, like answering questions for me. But it's something about having it playing in your ear, like in your headphones throughout the day, just naturally when you want it to. I think we should add some kind of like, so that it's not always talking, like some kind of like keyword to turn it on or something. Maybe that might be interesting. Or not a keyword, maybe like intelligently only comes in when it realizes you're talking to it. That would be cool, right? Instead of using keywords anymore, like that's a way better user experience. Like if it somehow realized that you're not talking to someone else, but you're actually talking to Project Atlas, then like in the things that it knows how to do, then maybe you could it like start responding. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, interesting. Or maybe like while you're having a conversation with someone, it can like give you in your ear research about things you should know about while you're having, so you can sound smart while you're talking to someone. I think that's cool. So the way everyone can access this, I think. No, so you can't access the version where you can talk to the agent in this version, but you can upload data now directly to your Supabase in the settings, in the agent settings menu. So go to agent settings, and you can upload PDFs. So let me show you what happens when you do that. Right, database. Yeah, this one. So I already uploaded a PDF here. This was the PDF, the research paper. And it automatically chunks it up for you, so you can upload CSV, like any unstructured data about your company. And what it does is it intelligently finds what you're talking about. So you can say things like find all the conversations that resulted in a sale and use this to generate high converting copy. So that actually works. So let's go back and upload a new research paper to talk about. So what do we do? Yeah, we did robots that ask for help. So anyway, that's this one. This one is interesting. Research. Okay. And you can see here, it's actually increasing the number of records. I'm going to upload it here. Then you just did it really quickly. Oh yeah, so it increased the number of records. I was trying to show you that, but it just did it really quickly. Okay, so it uploaded the new research paper down here, research on public goods. So now it knows this context of what to talk about, and then what it's doing when we talk to it, it uses embeddings to turn our input into a number, and then in this database, everything in this database also has a number. So that makes it easy to calculate a distance between what you say and everything in this database. So that way it's able to implicitly learn things or even just bring up what you're talking about. So let's try this again. So the paper we just uploaded was "Are language models a threat to public goods?" So let's ask some questions about that. Could you explain the paper about "Are language models a threat to public goods"?
Sure, this research paper discusses the potential impact of large language models, LLMs, like ChatGPT, on digital public goods, specifically focusing on the online QA platform, Stack Overflow. The researchers are concerned that as more people use LLMs to get information, they might stop contributing to public online resources. This could lead to a decrease in the amount of publicly available human-generated data, which is a valuable resource for training future AI models. The paper also highlights that the owners of current leading models have exclusive access to user inputs and feedback. If the amount of open data decreases, these owners could have a significant advantage over new competitors in training future models. Another concern is that the decline of public resources on the web could reverse the progress made by the web in democratizing access to knowledge and information. The paper concludes by calling for more research on. The researchers also worry that the consolidation of information seeking around a few language models could limit our exploration and focus our attention on mainstream topics. The political economy of open data and AI, and how we can incentivize continued contributions to digital public goods.
Okay, so before I wanted, because it's going to respond to everything I said, I didn't want to say anything. Okay, I just wanted to answer a question in the live chat. Someone asked about, can you upload Excel file formats? But yes, you can upload CSV file formats. I export to CSV, and actually you can talk to it about like financial data and stuff like that. I don't have an example about that. That might be a good example for next time. But any text file, PDF, but any sort of data you can now upload to your Supabase and have a conversation with it. Yeah, so our large language models a threat to digital public goods? I'll be asking another question. So, in the context of large language models being a threat to digital public goods, do you think that this could improve the quality of the services over time so that they just generate more correct data and users are less likely to generate copies of incorrect data? And would it also be possible for it to augment the quality of data over time by encouraging only questions that are unknown to be put into the public sphere so that we focus on what is more unknown than what is known, because we can now rely on a central source of truth for all those things without having to re-verify things?
This is because as more people use these models the research suggests that while large language models, LLMs like ChatGPT, can provide accurate and efficient information, they may also pose a threat to the generation of new, diverse, and open data. Information. They may contribute less to public knowledge repositories like Stack Overflow. leading to a decrease in the quantity and quality of these digital public goods. However, the research also points out that in terms of improving the quality of services, LLMs can indeed provide more accurate information and reduce the spread of incorrect data. Models are trained on existing data, and if the generation of new data slows down, it could limit the ability of these models to learn and improve over time. As for focusing on the unknown, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it could indeed encourage more unique and challenging questions to be asked, pushing the boundaries of knowledge. On the other hand, it could also lead. Lastly, while LLMs can provide to a narrowing of focus on mainstream topics, as these models are trained on existing data and may not be able to handle less common topics as effectively. Centralized source of information. It's important to remember that they are not infallible and their responses are based on the data they were trained on. Therefore, they may not always provide the most up-to-date or comprehensive information, and human verification and critical thinking are still necessary.
Would it be possible to combine the research from robots that ask for help and the research on the ability for robots to degrade the quality of services to create new agents that trigger and let us know when they're degrading the quality of services?
The research on robots that ask for. Yes, it is indeed possible to combine these two research areas to create intelligent agents that can self-monitor and alert us when they're degrading the quality of services. Help introduces a framework called No-No, which helps robots to understand when they don't know something and need to ask for help. This is done by aligning the uncertainty of large language model LLM-based planners. The robots are designed to seek help to ensure a statistically guaranteed level of task success specified by the user, and they also try to minimize the overall amount of help they seek. On the other hand, the research on the impact of large language models, LLMs, on, for instance, if people start using LLM, the generation of open data on question and answer platforms discusses how the use of these models can potentially degrade the quality of services. By combining these two research areas, we could instead of online knowledge repositories. The contributions to these repositories might decrease, leading to a decline in the quality of these digital public goods. Potentially develop intelligent agents that not only know when to ask for help, but also understand when their actions might be leading to a degradation in the quality of services. These agents could then alert us when such a situation arises, allowing us to take corrective action. This could be particularly useful in maintaining the quality of digital public goods and ensuring the continued effectiveness of AI models.
Could you explain to me what dark matter means in this context?
The term dark matter does not appear in the provided research text. The research is about using large language models, L. If you have a question about dark matter in a different context, feel free to ask. M is for robot planning and interaction, and how to calibrate these models to ask for human help when they are uncertain.
Yeah, so someone just asked a question about try to ask it like something random to see what happens. So yeah, in this case, we can sort of force it. Excuse me. Force these agents to only care about the context, but it doesn't have to do that. That's just a design choice we made just now. So you can actually create agents that are dynamic and do answer any sort of question if you just tell them to do that. However, in this case, I formulated this prompt, a system prompt, in such a way that it's a research agent that only uses the input research. So yeah, that's something that you can do. And if you guys have any ideas for PDFs you want me to talk to, feel free to upload them to the live chat. I'll try it out live now, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so there's another research paper that we uploaded. Let's talk about that. Let's see. Yeah, verify step by step, and maybe we'll even just try a random research paper live just to see what happens. Just because I just want to see what happens, because this is actually pretty cool. And in the last example, we actually combine topics from two different research papers. So you can actually keep adding research papers into this, like your own personal research assistant, and try to have it formulate independent conclusions across multiple different research papers, even like different research, entirely different like research areas that you're not familiar with, because typically some of the interesting solutions tend to happen at like the juncture of research areas that people tend not to explore. So I think that's very interesting. You can like quickly now test ideas like this by just uploading research papers, asking questions against it, getting meaningful avenues for research. I don't think yet it's probably going to be able to discover something new, but maybe it might be. I don't know. It might be something cool. So let me know what you guys come up with. Let's try one more. So just this is just again just a lot of fun. So uh, I'm sure there's business use cases for this, obviously, but right now we're just having fun. Let's try this verify step by step. And then you can see we had 138 records. It's now 166 records. So it added everything else, chunked it up for us to our CRM. Now all our agents have access to this. Even the sales agents can also have access to this data. So you can actually add business data, all your support documents, everything about your business, so they can answer meaningful questions and things. Actually, if you look at the agent that I demoed, well, I'll talk about this. We're only like on slide 2, which is kind of funny. Okay, I'll keep going. We have a lot of more cool stuff to show, but I only trained that agent that we talked to last meeting, with like a simple single sentence. Everything that it talked to in our last meeting, it sounded like a new paragraphs of stuff about our company that it completely made up. You'll see the input was just a single sentence, so that these can extrapolate and act like useful agents. I think that's kind of cool. So you just tell them how to act like you're a professional sales agent or you're a professional researcher, and they actually do pretty well. So that's pretty exciting. Okay, so we just uploaded this. So let's try to ask questions about this. Let's verify step by step. So this is a research paper about improving the accuracy of language models, of math and language models. Okay, let's ask a question. Can you explain the research paper titled Let's Verify Step by Step about improving accuracy?
I'm sorry, but without the actual research paper or at least an abstract, it's difficult to provide a detailed explanation. However, based on the title, Let's Verify Step by Step about Improving Accuracy, it seems like the paper might be discussing a methodical, a step-by-step approach to verify or confirm the improvement of accuracy in a certain process or experiment. The step-by-step verification could be could involve a variety of fields from machine learning where accuracy of algorithms is crucial to manufacturing processes, where accuracy of production is important, way to ensure that each part of the process is working as accurately as possible, and to identify and correct any steps that might be causing errors or inaccuracies. Again, this is a very general interpretation based on the title alone. For a more accurate explanation, more context or information about research would be needed.
Okay. Oh yeah, so maybe it just didn't update or something like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna upload it again and try it again, and then let's see. I'll give it a second before we try it again. Could you explain the research paper about including improving the accuracy of math and language models called Let's Verify Step by Step?
I'm sorry, but without the actual research paper or more specific details about it, I can't provide a detailed explanation. However, I can give you a general idea of what a research paper on improving the accuracy of math and language models might entail. Such a paper would likely focus on developing and testing new methods for improving the accuracy of mathematical and language models. These models are used in a variety of fields, including artificial intelligence, linguistics, and education. Mathematical models are used to describe and predict the behavior of systems in a mathematical language. Improving their accuracy could involve refining the equations used, incorporating more variables, or using more sophisticated statistical techniques. Language models, on the other hand, are used in natural language processing to predict the likelihood of a given sequence of words appearing in a sentence. Improving their accuracy could involve using larger datasets for training, refining the algorithms used, or incorporating more contextual information. The Let's Verify Step by Step part of the title suggests that the paper might propose a systematic approach to verifying the accuracy of these models. This could involve breaking down the model into smaller parts and testing each one individually, or it could involve a more iterative process of making small changes to the model and testing the results each time. If you have more specific details about the paper, I would be happy to provide more detailed explanation. Again, without the actual paper, this is just a general idea of what such a research might involve.
Okay, it might just be getting confused. I don't know what's going on. I'll figure it out later, but you get the idea. I'm going to go on. I downloaded another research paper for dark matter. We can test out if we have time at the end of the call. So, okay. We have another cool feature called background agents. We're on slide 3 still. This is now integrated. All users have access to this in this update. So we realized that their agents, we're going to give agents the ability to use our scheduler. They now have the ability to trigger each other using webhooks. They can email each other. They can email each other because each agent has an email, a webhook address, and now you can also trigger them to run in the background across all websites rather than having to open a new tab to execute them, which is kind of not seamlessly helping you. So we're trying to integrate more seamlessly into businesses. And typically, most of our customers run their businesses through a combination of services and websites. So you can now go to any input form and try this out. So this works. You can hit star and then open bracket, and you can say, for example, a joke about dogs. Everyone should be able to do this if you have the latest version. And it'll use an agent. If you've defined this agent before, it'll actually use the agent to build it for you. But what's going on? Oh, sorry. Let me do this again. But if you build what you can do is you can build your own. I reinstalled the extension, so I had to refresh. Sorry. If you build your own shortcuts, you can define what agents, how they react. So this is not just like a replacement thing where you can say a joke about dogs and it'll create a joke. It's not like just like a GPT-3 prompt. It's actually triggering agents to do things. So what you can do is on the agents dashboard, you can now trigger your own shortcuts. So for example, in order to create your own shortcuts, just edit any task and add background inside square brackets, like this. And that'll allow you to define custom tasks that you want these agents to do. So for example, you can have them reschedule meetings for you, actually go perform automations with quick shortcuts, and then come back with the results and then use the results to automate posting that data. So let me go over example. So for example, like a reschedule engine. That's a simple example. So you can say reschedule Monday 5 p.m. And this is a custom shortcut I built where the agent takes my input and then converts it to an actual message to do a reschedule for them, much longer input. And this is helpful also for people with disabilities because it's also using the accessibility API in Chrome. So all websites are required to accept this. And so it should make it easier for people to build their own custom shortcuts across all websites, automate your business intelligently. Seems to have messed up our link. You get the idea. So you can define your agents here on the agents dashboard in simple language. You can see I just told it in simple language what to include. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. Yeah, and they can also even perform automations in between getting the content and posting it. Okay. So next week we're going to focus on making it easy as possible for people to launch these things, because right now, most users are not testing agents; they're mostly using Project Atlas. The most common automation right now is like the social automations, like the Twitter posting and things like that. With Cheat Layer Desktop, we'll be able to actually post videos, images. That's actually because in order to go beyond the browser security sandbox, I'll explain in the next slide, Cheat Layer Desktop is necessary for a lot of those roadblocks. But we're trying to build this in such a way to make it easy for businesses to deploy agents that are valuable and run and help them offload their their work, accelerate their work, get them more sales, or save time for things that we can't like automate yet, like analysis, meeting customers, closing deals, due diligence, solving problems like a general person, not a general AI. So that's not yet possible. So until we get there, we're kind of designing in a unique direction that you may not see in other sort of agent solutions, where we're actually paying attention to what businesses need to get things done. So, for example, this loading bar, I don't know any other agent system that uses loading bars, so we figured out a way to calculate how long it takes for an agent to complete because they all have maximum tokens and things. Feel free to use that. And so, but it's useful for us because we can actually tell what they're doing when we're running this in the agent's dashboard. So I can just maybe do a quick example so you know what I'm talking about if you're new. And we developed this in such a way, like a project management interface, where you can actually edit the tasks if agents do something incorrectly. So this is running in the background, but we can see when it's going to complete. You can actually tell them how to complete like an employee in simple language, and you don't have to like rely on the output of ChatGPT to get things done. And this is like actually the most powerful feature for building useful agents, because I can, when they get stuck, I can tell them how to solve the problem very easily. And you can do this yourself. All users have access to this. And so in this same vein, this next week, we're going to focus on design elements and things that may not be useful for project management for people, but are useful for agents. So, for example, like managing teams of agents, more visibility in the Supabase CRM, like probably CRM as well for ourselves to be able to see that data and ask business intelligence questions against that data. Because it's not really like a normal CRM. You can actually ask things like, how many times did people convert when we sent them a video at 10 a.m. and things like that. So any sort of unstructured data or intelligence that you want from your business, you'll be able to ask against this Supabase that grows with your business that you keep. It's entirely yours to keep. It's private. And if we go down, you can take it to GPT-5, and it's still a valuable business resource for you that you can even resell access to eventually. So yeah, so in the background, you can see it's doing scientific research. I'm going to stop this. So what are the features like this that would make it easier to use? For example, we're going to add the ability to add empty tasks, empty agents, teams of agents. So you can monitor teams of agents for larger enterprise customers. And then we're going to do a big design sprint. So everything's going to be completely refreshed and redesigned around building useful teams of agents to augment your work, basically. So let us know in the Discord, live chat support. And then the sales agents have several upgrades in this latest update. Everyone should have access to this update now, actually, so you can try this. I did this at the end of the call, so I wouldn't mess up my entire setup, but I ended up reinstalling it, I think, anyway. So the sales agents, they now only take 5 minutes to set up themselves automatically because SheetLayer is an automation service. So we know how to automate all these setups. We just haven't done it initially, but we can make it as easy as possible. And now it's as easy that anyone can just click a button to set everything up. And even if you don't have leads yet, you can, in like 5 minutes, you can go from not having leads to having an autonomous sales agent sending personalized messages and even getting demos the same day. So it's so easy. Literally, a kid could do it. I think we should do like like a video ad where there's like a kid maybe selling lemonade or something, but he's using our system to sell it automatically. I think that'd be fun. And wearing like a suit, I think that'd be funny. I need more ideas for viral ads. Let me know. We're growth hacking. I might fly to San Francisco still to do that trick that I was talking about. Okay, so this is also really our defensive moat, because when Microsoft just recently announced their entry into 365 with chat, that wasn't what I expected. So that means that they're still actually going to release a significant solution across all their products for automation. And we just don't have to compete with them yet. So I think by next month we'll release, and that's also intimately baked into their products. So it seems like you can't automate other things like Mac. So there's a huge market open to us, I think. So we're going to be building tools with SheetLayer Desktop that allow you to actually automate your business in every possible roadblock and scenario. And we're going to start releasing that next month. So that's going to be like the race that we can start releasing in such a way that, like I mentioned, as we gather this data, since it requires statistical significance, Microsoft won't be able to copy it overnight. So yeah, we're also onboarding large, significant enterprise customers now. And we're building tools specifically for them that could help them manage teams of agents, but not to replace their sales team. So we did this ourselves with our own sales team before, where we automated Apollo.io, and we just constantly got more demos on autopilot. That's all we did. The sales team didn't have to touch Apollo, the sales base, or anything else. We just set up a Calendly link with a round robin structure for the whole sales team, and GPT-4 auto responded to the people who were interested in demos. It's very simple. You can set this up yourself already. I'm sure there's other services that do it, and it just increases the number of demos that your existing sales team gets. So it makes them more efficient. They don't have to spend time on like manual stuff. They actually enjoyed this. They didn't have to do like a lot of the rote manual work. And so it should accelerate your existing sales team, I think. And then it should get them more deals, because it's not going to be actually like, I mean, in some products, maybe self-service, it might actually close the deal. But in my experience, you're going to have to meet with them anyway, right? So it's going to be employed by experienced sales experts, but just accelerate what they're already doing. So what we're looking for is people who have large sales teams already, because we're looking for the metrics to prove this. We already proved it before with Apollo.io that we can automate the responses and get way more demos. I think it was like 50% increase in demos, but from switching from Apollo.io just to personalized outbound, we realized we get double the reply rate. So before in Apollo.io, we got about a 4% reply rate, maybe 5% if we're lucky on some days. And then immediately switching to this new system, and the difference is instead of sending the same sequences, even with A/B testing to everyone, we sent a personalized message to every single person using agents. We got a 10% reply rate, which makes sense. It has to be better than just sending the same message to everyone. And not just one outbound introduction. These people were actually responding and having conversations with these agents. So that's obviously going to get a better reaction, I think. And so what we're looking for is existing people who have sales teams, and I will set it up for you. We'll do all the hard work. It's not really hard work, but we'll set you up, and we'll guarantee that you'll increase your current metrics. That's what we'll guarantee, or it's free. So because it's really very obviously easy to set up, and just setting up the automation alone for auto responding should get you more demos on autopilot. That should just alleviate your sales team to just do more work. That alone is like a no-brainer. But this personalized outbound is something that we're looking to actually prove with real metrics. So that's why I'm offering this to personally set it up myself. So I'm actually setting up with a couple big enterprise customers now, helping them actually manually set up their entire sales team. And so, for example, we're now looking for retailers or car dealerships, because that's a big thing in SMS sales. If you know anyone who owns a car dealership or a big retail bunch of stores, if you do SMS sales, let me know and I'll set this up for you. So reach out to me. I mean, this is also new. We just need the metrics to show people. And I think once people realize that this is obviously better, they're just going to try it much faster. It's going to be a very obvious solution, no-brainer solution. But also, in like a few months, we're going to have a big competitor like Microsoft, where when we get to that point, we'll have this unique data for people who are going to be starting businesses that don't have to start from zero. And people are going to be able to keep their data. And so I think we're going to have a very compelling solution that we can actually convince people to switch from Microsoft rather than, the way Microsoft is doing it now is they're not even giving you the option to store the data. They're just saying, pay us and we won't store it. So they're actually still taking the data from the free people. They're selling it to people who are paying. So it's really not it's completely like losing all that data too. I think this is going to be a very easy sell for us, especially if it actually meaningfully solves these problems. And I don't think that's like a hard thing to do. I think this is just a race, a marathon towards a known finish line that we're going towards. And there's going to be a point in a few months where we're not the only companies doing this. It's going to be huge companies trying to do the same thing, but we'll actually be able to convince customers to switch to our solution because we took this time to gather the data, to make our agents more robust, and make the interface to use it actually useful for businesses. So the screenshot down here is actually just an example of the input we did. In our last meetup, we introduced agents, voice synthesis for agents, right? And this was the sales agent. This was just the entire prompt for that entire sales agent. You can go watch the last meetup, the last live stream, and it had like entire conversation with me, right? It seemed like I told it more than I told it, and it filled in the gaps. So this is, you just look at it. This was the only input I gave it. This single sentence is how I trained that sales agent to respond like an actual sales professional for Cheat Layer. And so go look it up. It's kind of cool. It's people are sharing it now. It's kind of exciting and stuff. So but it's like literally this simple that a child could do it. And that was the original vision. So that's kind of exciting. We're getting there. I mean, we're there. I think we're close. We just need to make it easy, make our product easy to use now. I think that's it. So that's the next step. That's what we're focusing on next week. Okay, so let me just show you guys. I want to do this at the end of the call so it doesn't mess up everything for me. But if you have access, all this reinstalled to get the latest version, but in the latest update, everyone should have this automated setup with sales agent. So once you add, search for the sales agent in the search bar, you can search for V3, deploy this agent. Now, agents will now have custom setups. We'll expand on this idea because we have the ability to use GPT-4 to even build custom UIs to make it easier. So we'll have it generate like custom tagging to make things easier to find, custom images, custom automated setups, things like that, all these buttons and UI features. So if you click this button, just make sure you're first logged in at Twilio. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm logged in at Twilio, and then make sure you're logged in at Supabase. Let me clear my last base thing. So I can do this. And the other thing is make sure you're logged in at Gmail. So it actually even sets up the entire Gmail forwarding. So Gmail or Google Workspace, not just Gmail. So you can hook up any domain that you own, any WordPress, any domain that you own to Gmail, Google Workspace. And it has really good deliverability. You can send 240 emails per day. But also, we set up the automation process entirely for you. So you just click a button and it does it for you. You can also set up other things like MailChimp, Mailgun, Zapier, and we'll automate those as well. But this is just the first one because we use it ourselves. This is the first one we automated, and it's easy for us to teach people because most people have Gmail. They can easily get this set up. So what it does is if you click that button, I'm going to do it now. It'll set up Gmail, Supabase, and Twilio all in 5 minutes entirely for you. So you can start using the sales agent immediately in just 5 minutes without having to do anything yourself. But you just have to copy one thing at the end for the setup for Supabase, and that's it. We'll figure out how to even automate that. But it's entirely, instead of, it used to take 15 minutes for each one of these. We've got that now down to 5 minutes to set it up all yourself. And if you don't have leads yet, go to any website. This lets you generate leads very quickly. Say, for example, scrape Google Maps for lawyers in New York for 3 pages. And the agent that I'm publishing today, I'll publish a new sales agent that works with this. Will interface with this output. So if you don't have leads yet and you want to get B2B leads, this is an automation we actually built for private equity firms that are actually using this now. So they look for local businesses but they're looking for local businesses, for example, within a certain range, mid-market that had a certain stagnant revenue. And so we actually pulled in 2 enrichment APIs to build this enterprise-grade solution that all users have access to. It uses a keyword SEO API to find adjacent keywords. So if it doesn't find any data, it tries very hard to find results. And then it uses an enrichment API to get more data than you can even get on Google Maps itself. So for example, you're noticing like revenue data, number of followers and following on Twitter, and the number of employees even. And then finally, contact information like phone number and the important stuff like email. And then you might have noticed it's also popping up all these windows. It even scrapes all these websites. So it opens all those websites. We have an agent that goes and scrapes all those websites to get you the personalized data you need to generate personalized introduction, personalized messages. And so it has a simple description at the top, and then it gets even more data from their website. And then so this allows you to not just do personalized outbound, not just personalized introductions, but actually personalized conversations, which we've published examples of people having like 5 replies deep with these agents, actually thinking it's a real person and closing a partnership deal and actually charging us for it. And okay, we're gonna show more examples of people actually buying stuff from us, but you'll get the idea. It's kind of exciting. So yeah, so everyone should have access to this. Now you have leads. Take this CSV, click File, Share, Publish to Web, get the CSV version. And now, once your sales agent is set up, after you click this button, you can enter your lead list here and do the same thing that we've done in this setup tutorial for our autonomous sales agents. You can now start sending. You'll start sending personalized messages, having personalized conversations. It'll auto-respond using the second task, which you can describe yourself. I think before setting it live, what I would recommend doing before doing the like entering this and engaging this agent, I would try to email it directly just to see it, because once you've set up the auto responding, you can send emails to yourself and see how it responds and try to break it. See if it actually responds intelligently and like an actual sales agent for your business that would send demos and videos and stuff like you. Set it live. But if it like breaks or something, if there's something wrong, it says something wrong, tell it what it did wrong here in these instructions. In simple language, you can say, if someone says, for example, that I want a video instead of a demo link, send them a video to this YouTube. And you can build it sort of like an employee. And it's kind of like hard to type. See, that's kind of like hard to type right now. What we're doing is this was built more for humans in like a Monday interface, which have like small, simple tasks. So in that same vein that I was talking about it earlier, we're going to design this for agents where we're going to give you like a list of guidelines that are separated. And it's not one big block of text and it's hard to type right now, where you can add like guidelines, rules, one list at a time. So it's easy and like that, easy to maintain and test and things like that. So expect that next week. That'll be easier to do. But you can now all set this up. So I'm gonna go and try it. Just click this button. So what it does is it sets up Gmail. Automates setting up Gmail, Supabase. It also opened Twilio in the background. So in the background, it got Twilio. Twilio is the easiest one. In Gmail, it's actually setting up the email forwarding for you. So it's actually going to set up the email forwarding and then parse it using cheat layer to even lock the email forwarding address for you. And then in Supabase, it's going to set up, see, it's now confirming the email address for you for forwarding. And then the final step is it actually even has to do this. It has to switch to actually doing this. It's just setting it to forward in Gmail. So it does everything for you for forwarding in Gmail now. You don't have to do anything. That used to take like 15 minutes to teach people to do it. And it was like a constant like issue where people like used to mess up something. That's now completely automated. Now it's now going to forward all your emails. If you go to Gmail, you'll notice there's like a warning. It's now forwarding all your emails to this agent. So test it and then deploy it. And then Supabase it's also setting up Supabase here. So in the background. Okay, now it's set up Supabase. This part takes a little bit, so setting up the database, because it's actually setting up a vector database on their servers for you. So it's going to take a little bit, so let this run. But when this is done, it's going to refresh the agent's dashboard for you. Everything should be set up. Yeah, it'll say, see, when you click the agent settings now, you'll see Twilio is all set up, Supabase is all set up, everything's all set up for you here. And then down here, the one final step you need to do is just copy this config file. We're just going to wait for the Supabase thing to complete. Okay, it's done. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go to that Supabase project that I just created, and I need to set up that project with a new config file, and we're done. That's it. We're going to automate this last part too. It's just we haven't had a chance to do that yet. But so far, I think this will significantly get a lot more users using agents next week. Or even now, you can try this now. Okay, so you have no tables yet in this new Supabase database. So what you want to do is go to SQL editor, and then click New Query, and then New Blank Query. SQL is like a language for databases, basically. You don't need to know what it means, but I've created the whole like setup for you, so you can just copy and paste it. You can get access to the setup config file in the agent setting dashboard. Click Run, and then down here it'll say Success, no rows return. And then if you go back to the table, you'll see you now have Agent CRM and Agent Data. And then now this allows you to directly upload data to your agent's CRM. So let me just go over an example of how you can do that. So now once everything's set up, see, it only took 5 minutes. All I had to do is click a button, copy, paste, easy as possible. Now you can upload your business data directly to your Supabase that you can even, you can even have it self-hosted on your own office entirely. You know where all the data is. So, for example, let's upload this paper actually. Searching for dark matter plasma. So when you upload that, you can see it now show up if you go to your date table. So Supabase is kind of like a no-code editor for these vector databases. You can actually edit this data. You can delete it. You get insight into what it is. You like instead of just like a database, you have to imagine in the cloud, and you see it chunked up our data for us. And then now you can go talk to it like we were doing earlier in the call. Okay, cool. And that's pretty much it for the automated setup. We're going to continue to automate things and make everything as easy as possible. So in that single button, we automated Gmail, Twilio, Supabase, everything you need to set up autonomous sales agents. Make it as easy as possible. When we release CheatLayer Desktop, we would even automate like the process of creating a new Chrome profile and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. To make it like literally one-click button to automate businesses in any sort of market. I think that would be interesting because we can kind of get to that point. So, all right, next. Please send me an email if you know anyone who needs SMS agents. We're looking at how get like actual metrics for SMS as well. So I'll be willing to set up all the first users personally myself with that. I'll fly to your office. I'll meet your sales team. I'll set it up, and happy to do that. So okay, so final thing I want to talk about is CheatLayer Desktop. This is very important. We've been working on this for months. We intended to launch this in January. So hold on, let me go look up an old video. Yeah, so you can find an old video launched 6 months ago in December, where this was actually the Project Atlas version we intended to launch in January. And the reason we didn't launch it is because it took hours for people to download this huge 6 gigabyte file. And so the aha moment, it would take hours to get to the aha moment, and it was really hard for people to download this thing. And so we figured that the majority of our customers run their businesses through a combination of websites. So we could focus on doing one thing well, solve those problems for those businesses, get their aha moment down to a minute, and then work on it like an actual valuable experience that would make it worth it to download that 6-hour thing in desktop. So now I think people understand that yes, you can get extreme value now with agents, even with just our Chrome extension generator. People are just deploying autonomous sales agents. Thousands of users globally are automating their business. If you search Twitter, at Twitter, you can see everyone, just the free users, automating their business globally. And so this is all just from the Chrome extension, but you now understand as well. I've been trying to explain the value of the desktop version. And so the desktop version, some of the things that it can bypass important roadblocks for a lot of the, not a lot of them, maybe like 20% of these automations that are still necessary. So we always intended to launch it. And so we just tabled it until we could get it approved by the official app store, so users can just click a button to download it. And that allows us to send auto updates and stuff like that, making that a better experience. So even if it has to be 6 gigabytes, at least that's as easy as possible. And people don't have to constantly re-download it. We're getting there. So that's the intention to launch that next month. And it's going to include something called semantic targeting that we've been working on for a year. So we explained this months ago, where it's going to be possible where websites completely change their design. And we've encountered this. That's why we know we have to build for this, where they'll just completely change their design or color or button or something like that. But they might have a general design aesthetic. Or they won't change their colors, but they'll change how things look, like we have as well. So in order to solve that problem, we realized we could use something called semantic targeting, which will use these language models, which are multimodal, which just means that it can do different things. And then the different things that it can do is it can relate images and text, because it converts them all to the same embedding language in the same vector space. And so in the vector space, it has no idea what's the difference between text and images. And so what we can do is we can take an image of the screen of the button, for example, like the tweet button, and it'll describe it as a tweet button. And it'll say this is a tweet button. And what happens is, even if Twitter changes the color of that tweet button, it'll always know that's a tweet button. Or even if it's like a picture of a bird, it'll say this is a picture of a bird on Twitter, because it'll know the history of all the buttons in Twitter. So this allows us to solve those problems finally and build a much more robust semantic targeting. It wasn't possible before. We could have kind of jerry-rigged it with glue and bubblegum before, and we've been testing that. That's literally what we did to just prove it works. But with GPT-4, it has, and there's a few other models we can now implement before we get access to this. It has a multimodal feature where you can give it an image and it'll describe what the image is. And it's very good at this too. So we're going to implement that. That's going to make targeting way more robust. That'll allow you to target and automate websites like Salesforce that have cross-origin iframes. Because we're no longer using the code to target things on the screen. We're using the image to target any program across any program or browser. So this was always like the long term. I mean, this was a short term vision in January. Actually, we intended to launch this first. We just couldn't get there. And it also allows you to do things like upload images, because browsers don't allow you to automate uploading things from your computer. Otherwise, people could steal your files, right? So that's like a security sandbox issue. We're okay with that. That's fine. But desktop, we have videos where we showed you like 6 months ago in December where you can actually automate generating the post to Twitter, but also generating the post using the text, but also actually generate the image using DALL-E and then upload the image to Facebook using the form for uploading images and automate that whole clicking process of this. I'm just playing it now. That's what it's doing. So it's taking right now in the background, it's generating the DALL-E image. It's done. It's generated the DALL-E image. Now it's automating the process of finding the image using the upload form. And I'm not clicking anything here. And it uploaded the DALL-E image, which was something about automation or robots or something like that. So I think DALL-E wasn't that great when we did this 6 months ago. I think if you're looking at the latest developments on this, you might notice now that there are entirely synthetic influencers that are actually generating images using Midjourney. I think Midjourney is what they're using, and Midjourney is about 1 out of 4 times good enough to be realistic. I think good enough to generate good content, and so I think that we're at the point where we can actually release content generation agents, because fundamentally I think growing a brand isn't about just posting tweets and interacting with people, but actually putting out good content. And so if we can solve that problem where these agents look at the engagement rate of the image and the generated text and actually iterate the content based on what people are interested in at that time, we can have autonomous brand growth agents that everyone can deploy. Every business can deploy this. It's valuable to all our customers, literally, that will constantly generate good content on autopilot and improve your brand growth and target in specific markets and things like that, because they can actually A/B test the engagement metrics, which is what all these social networks, all they really care about is to sell ads. And so they have algorithms to find good content, and the way they do that is they calculate the engagement rate, and they have armies of engineers who are trying to increase that number and keep people on the app for another minute. And if they can increase that number by 0.1%, those engineers get promoted. And so they use engagement rate and they test traffic against each profile, basically. And if the engagement rate of that traffic is good, they test more traffic. Scientifically, they do this objectively. And then so they can send millions of profiles to someone, actually, if you have good content. So I think the path forward to help our customers automate their brand growth is to use agents to A/B test using Midjourney, GPT-4, generating the content, but actually A/B test the engagement rate to figure out what content to generate, not just generate random content. Like iterate the prompt, the wording, the style, what seems to work. Try randomizing things, use like genetic algorithms to figure out what's good content. That's a lot of wild stuff we can test now, so that's kind of exciting. And it's only possible with CheatLayer Desktop, so I just want to get you guys excited for what's happening with CheatLayer Desktop. We're going to be able to generate images, videos, A/B test them, brand growth automation, automate any program, not just the browser, Mac, Windows, Linux. Super exciting stuff. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. Have fun. I'll see you next week. Thank you.